Hey guys, it's Luke. So today we're going to do a bit of a different kind of video. Today I want to talk about masks. Yes, masks. You can probably guess the reason, and I'm sure you know about the coronavirus outbreak that started in Wuhan. Obviously you know, everybody knows. So this video is about protecting yourself, and especially which kind of mask is best. By the way, I hope all of you guys watching this, especially in China, are taking care of yourselves, staying safe and healthy, and also for those of you staying home, I hope you're finding something to do. I've heard stories. Now, when news stories first started coming out about the virus, I said to myself out loud, because I talk to myself out loud, I said, well, it's very unlikely that I'll be infected, so I'll just make sure I always wash my hands, which I always do, by the way, and I'll be fine. But then I said to myself and to Mushroom, as soon as I hear of a confirmed case in New York, which is where I live, I'm going to get a mask and wear it. But the question is then, which mask should I get? And whenever I'm faced with this kind of question, I do research. And that's what I did in this case. So I am going to share with you what I've found and which kind of mask I've decided to get. Before we do that though, before I share that, a couple of keywords first. One, outbreak. Very important word to know. When a disease starts spreading, we can call it an outbreak. An outbreak. It's sort of broken out, right? Two, viral infection. There are different kinds of infection. A viral infection is when you are infected, or when there is an infection caused by a virus. The virus is the kind of infection it is. Okay. Three, transmission. We use transmission to talk about how the disease spreads. For example, an STD is a sexually transmitted disease. That's how it's transmitted. Now, coronavirus can be spread through coughing, sneezing, touching infected people, and that means that it can spread through the air, which is not good. That's one reason why it's so dangerous, and that's why it may be time to consider buying a mask. I would say wherever you are in the world. Of course, most people, if not all people, in China will be wearing a mask, but I think it's time for everybody to at least start thinking about it. And as I've said, it's time for me to buy a mask. So the key question then is, what kind of masks actually work? There are two main types. There are the N95 respirator masks, and then there are surgical masks, and those are the ones that you see in movies where people are running around in hospitals. Surgical masks, usually. Now, I don't think it's a good idea to just read articles. I think that's not good enough, because that's someone who's writing their opinion based on another thing they read. So I found some actual scientific studies done, and I read them. And here's the thing. Here's the takeaway. The studies don't all agree. Some studies reported that surgical masks were not as effective as the N95 masks, and quite a few showed about the same level of effectiveness. Now, two studies I looked at in particular had very clear results. And I want to say before we talk about those, first, that masks do work. They work. They decrease the chances of infection. In a study of 1,179 students at the University of Michigan, the rate of flu was reduced by 75% among students who were wearing masks and washed their hands regularly. So two things: wearing masks, washing your hands. And they were just wearing regular surgical masks. Now, in another study, this is the one that kind of shows the difference between them, or lack of a difference between them. There were nurses in a hospital. 225 had the regular surgical masks, and 221 had the N95. Is it N95 or N95? I actually don't know how people usually say that. N95. I don't know. Okay, so 221 had the N95 respirator masks. 50 of the nurses with the surgical masks got the flu from patients. And 48 of the nurses with the respirator masks got sick, got the flu. By the way, these nurses were around flu patients all day. They weren't just hanging out, outside or taking care of people who didn't have the flu. These are nurses who are around flu patients. And this study in particular suggests that both types of masks can prevent the spread of flu at about the same rate. Both masks are effective. But notice that in spite of the masks, some nurses still got the flu. So I think the message is wearing a mask is good, no matter what type. And washing your hands like a crazy person can make you a lot safer than the average person. In the study with the students, they washed their hands and wore masks. 75% lower chances. That's pretty good. Doing both of these things can make you a lot safer than the average person if you're living in a city that has the flu, especially this flu. And don't be the person touching the handle on the subway and then licking your hands. Nobody likes that person. So, what did I decide? Well, since both masks are about the same, I focused on the question of convenience. The fact is, surgical masks are only meant to be used once or maybe twice, and then thrown into the ocean, where trash belongs. So you have to buy a ton of them, a huge box, and that's not super convenient, in my opinion. Maybe for some people. So for that reason, I've decided to get a respirator mask. Hopefully I can find a cool one on Amazon. Well, I hope you find this video useful, and I'd really like to hear from you in the comments. Are you going to get a mask? Do you already have one? Which one do you think is better? Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video, and if you want to learn more seriously, check out my courses in the links in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you guys in the next one.